Hey, AJ Ayers. I write the Substack Money Changes Everything. This week, I'm talking about Excel, and I've got a Substack newsletter called Learn Excel or Die. And I'm talking a lot about using Excel for your small business and kind of the basic profit and loss statements you might want to build. But I had a realization over the weekend that a lot of people don't know how to use Excel at all. They just never learned it. Maybe they never had an office job. It was just never necessary. Funny story, I was having a little minor procedure and I was coming out of anesthesia over the weekend. And if you've never had anesthesia, when they wake you up and then you're kind of groggy for like 10 to 15 minutes and the world's kind of blurry and you can kind of hear things, but they're coming in and out. And 10 feet away from me was the nurse at the nurse's station, and she was on her computer and I could hear her. She was trying to sort a list of drugs alphabetically. I assume she was describing a Excel spreadsheet. And in my haze, I was like, filter, you need a filter. And she was like, what? I was like, you need a filter. Select all the data and you can filter it. And then you can sort it by ascending alphabetical order. And she was like, oh, thank you. That worked. So yes, no shame if you don't know how to use Excel. Shit happens. You make it through life. So I'm just going to show you some super, super basic things that I use actively in my life to make my life easier. These are like super basic. I'm going to show you how to make an itinerary. I'm going to show you how to make a weekly agenda. And I'm going to show you how to organize your expenses. Hopefully we can wrap this up fairly quickly. So let's dive into it. So on the first tab here, I'm using Google Sheets, by the way. Google Sheets, Excel, fairly interchangeable. A lot of the skills, a lot of the commands, a lot of the functions work in both Excel and Google Sheets. You can do more in Excel if you actually have like the desktop app, but Google Sheets will work very well. I love it for sharing and collaborating. So everything you're going to learn here in Google Sheets is applicable to Excel. So here I've got my ITIN on the first tab, itinerary. And this is how I organize my life. I use a calendar, but I find it really helpful to have this sort of vertical organization. So basically, we're just going to create a day for a row. So in Excel, we've got rows and we've got columns. We're going to create a row for every day of the year. So I've got this is what I'm trying to create here. And I'm going to count each day that I'm in a certain location, but I'm going to show you how to build it here. So we've got our day. I'm just making these up. We have our year. We have our location. What else did I have here? I have my status. Oh, the day of the week. That's important. So I forgot to put in a column here. So what I can do is click on this column and then use my mouse to right click, and I can do insert one column left. That will add a nice column here. So that's day of the week, location, and then I had a column called status. Okay, so first day of the year is 1/1/20. 25. That's great. Now I'm not going to go ahead and type every single day of the year. What I'm going to do is just drag this down, and look, it just magically does that. So I'm going to drag it all the way down to 365. Keep going. Almost, yeah, roughly that. Okay, so we almost made it, except we didn't come down here. So I'm just going to select these and then hit delete. So now we have every day of the year. I actually don't need to put the year in here, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete this column because I don't need it. Quick little fun function for you. So a function is basically a formula. So if I put in the equal sign, it'll bring up potential formulas. You can also Google this. ChatGPT is super helpful, but I'm going to put in year, and if it'll it's already knows what I want to do because it's smart. So I'm just going to go ahead and type in. So I want to select that I want it to tell me the year for that date. So I'm going to go ahead and click enter, and look, it's already suggesting. So that's great, but I don't really need this for now. So I'm going to go ahead and hide this column, which saves my data. It just doesn't show it. So visually it looks a little better. Day of the week, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to type in here, and we're going to go, we're going to go do equals, and we're going to do day of, nope, sorry, that's not how we do this. I'm just going to type in, I think it was a Monday. And then look, if I were to drag Monday down, Oh, look, it already knows. Look at that. But if it doesn't, what you could do is you could type Monday, then you could type Tuesday, and that would give the software a little bit more of a clue. So if we select all of these, it's going to be pretty sure that it knows you're trying to do all the days of the week. So we'll go ahead and drag that one all the way down. This is super fun, right? Okay, so we've done that. Now we are going to put in our location. I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste from the ones I've already done. So I'm just going to go ahead and select this column, Control C, location, select the whole column with my mouse. If I just click up here, it'll select the whole thing. And then I do Control V and I've got my location. Same thing with status. So here I want to show you how to build a fun little drop down. So my status, I want to be able to tell myself if I'm on vacation or if I went to a conference. So that Palm Springs trip, I think, was a vacation. So I'm going to put that in here. But I want to be able to toggle back and forth. I don't want to have to type in vacation every time. So what I'm going to do is select this cell. I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm going to go to Drop Down. And it's going to bring up this menu over here on the right. Now, if it's a vacation, I want the cell to turn yellow. But I also want to be able to say when I'm at a conference. So I'm going to enter the value here of conference and then done. And now I've got this cute little drop down. So I don't have to write it out every time. I can just toggle back and forth. Now see, we've got those dots here. I just need to resize this column. So I'm just going to click and drag. Now I want to be able to choose vacation or conference for this whole situation. So I'm going to be able to, if you want to just drag the empty cell, first we have to get rid of my selection. So click into the cell and then click delete. Now it's like that nice gray box. If we select this and we just drag it all the way down, there are faster ways to do this, by the way, but I'm just showing you how it works. Now we can select in every single cell, was it a vacation or a conference? And again, if we want to add something in here, we could also say it was a work from home or something like that. And you'll see that now it's added to just that cell, but it's asking me if I want to apply it to all the other dropdowns. And yes, I do want to apply it to all, or you could say just this instance. But in this case, I want to apply it to all. So now I can choose from all of these. So that's how you do a super quick itinerary. I'm also going to show you how to do a pivot table. Now, a pivot table is just a quick summary of your data. So the reason why I have this spreadsheet is so I can track my days. I can tell New York State how many days I actually spent in New York. That way I can allocate my taxes. It's a very useful spreadsheet. So I've already created a pivot table here, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So basically, we're going to select all of this data in column D because that's what I want to do. I want to count how many days I was in Brooklyn versus Vermont versus London. So I'm going to select column D and I'm going to do an insert here for a pivot table. And I don't like to put it on a new sheet. I just want it here. So I'm going to click existing sheet. And then I'm just going to select any random cell so I can see it. So if you go ahead and just like click into any cell, it'll tell you, okay, I'm going to put it over here. So let's do that. And we will go ahead and create it. So now we have a blank pivot table and we have to tell Google Sheets what we want the pivot table to show us. Now, in this case, I want it to grab all the rows. So I'm sorry, I wanted to grab the rows. Yes, rows. So we're going to click the location. That's what I'm after. And then I want to show the value for each location. So where it says values, I'm going to click add. And it's going to show, I'm going to click location again, and it's going to tally up all the times I was in that place. Now, you may notice here that we have some duplicates. It does equal 365, so we know our data is accurate. That's a nice little check. Looks like we have 2 different entries for Brooklyn. That's because I probably typed it weird. Maybe there's a space after it, so I want to go back and fix that. So see, for Paris, we've got 2 different Parises. So if I scroll down here, let's do Control F for Paris. And let's go find out where that is in my data. So let's just make sure we've spelled it right each time. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit Paris and then drag this down. And then we should see our 2 entries over here become 1. Yeah, look at that. So we used to have 3 and 1. Now we have 4. So now we have this great pivot table. I'll fix the Brooklyn stuff later, but this basically tells me how many days I was out of the country. So that's super useful. Let's just go over a few quick things. This is going to be a long video. I want to show you how to build a itinerary. This is an itinerary I built recently for a working retreat. And basically in the A column, I put time of the day. Up here, I put the date, what day of the week it was, and then I made these blocks of time, added some colors to make it look pretty. So I'm going to show you real quick how I built this. So we're starting with a blank sheet. What time of the day should our retreat start? Let's say 9 a.m. So again, Google Sheets is really smart. So it already knows that I want 9 a.m. Let's see what happens if I just drag this without telling it anything. Look at that. It gave me every hour, so we're already done. But let's say I wanted to do every half hour because I want to micromanage people. So now we select the 9 o'clock and the 9:30. And if we drag this down, it now remembers that I want to show every half hour. So now we've got our times every half hour. I'm going to go ahead and just put this up top. So same thing up here. I'm just going to make up a date here, 6/7/25. I don't know if that was actually a Monday, but let's go ahead and select those. And if I drag them out, it should actually it should understand what I was trying to do. Now, I don't like the way that looks. So what I'm going to do is hover my mouse over here and then hover my mouse over here and hold down my shift key. And then I select it all, or you could just drag it all across with your mouse. And I want to reformat it. So I'm going to make it center align. I like it to look prettier. And now let's say I want to block off some time on Tuesday for breakfast. Now I want to block off from 10 to 11:30, so I'm not just going to type in breakfast, breakfast, breakfast. That looks stupid, right? So what I'm going to do is click on the cell I want to start at, and then end at the cell I want to end at. So breakfast is going to be from 10 a.m. to 11:30. And what I'm going to do here is go to Format and select Merge Cells. And I'm going to merge these all. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to merge vertically. And now, okay, it's telling me, it's giving me a warning, but that's okay because it's just going to preserve the top value. It's going to delete that second breakfast. Okay, so now I've got this nice little block. I'm going to turn it yellow for eggs, but I don't like the way that looks. It's kind of formatted weird in the corner. So this is one of my favorite formatting tools, which is the vertical align. If we click the middle, it will center it nicely, and then let's center that nicely. So we're gonna have breakfast, and we're gonna have breakfast every day at the same time. So I'm just gonna Control C and copy that each day. Anything else I want to show you here? I think that's it. Just super simple how to create. I use this to create kind of like my week schedule. So that's helpful as well. One more for you. Expenses, right? A quick, easy expense report. So I downloaded this directly from my credit card company. So I wanted to figure out how much I was spending on my credit card last month. So this is how the data came in: card number, transaction date, the date that the expense actually posted, a description of it, got some ChatGPT in here, got some Substack, got some Typeform, typical business expenses, and then a category. So Chase already gave me the categories, but I might want to change them. And we have this amount. Now look at the amount. They're negative. I don't like negative numbers. Obviously, it was a charge on the credit card, so that's why it's negative. But I don't like that. So I'm just going to show you a super quick hack. There is actually a formula for this, but I actually just like doing this number. And if you just multiply it by -1, it'll give you a positive number. That's just the easiest way to do it. We're going to accept this autofill. And then I don't want to see these negative numbers in here, but I can't delete them because because my formula is dependent on that. I'm going to do Control C. So all I'm going to do is just hide this and make it look prettier. And then we're going to call this amount plus. I already showed you how to do a pivot table, but this is another great example of where you might want a pivot table and you can play around with what you want in the rows and values. I don't care what the post date was, so I'm going to go ahead and just delete that. Card number, it's all the same. Going to go ahead and delete that. And then category here is helpful. Type, it's all sale, don't need that. Just quickly, super basic function, one that you're gonna love is the sum. So I just I type in the equal sign and then I write the word sum and I open my parentheses for my formula. And look, it already knows what I'm doing. But if it didn't, let's say this didn't pop up for you, all you would do is select the first number you want to add up and then the last number. Oops, sorry. And then hold down your shift and then select the last number and then close your parentheses. And that way we have this nice little sum here. So I spent $670 on my credit card. This formatting I don't love. Let's go ahead and add a border at the bottom. So we click this little square and I'm going to add a lower border just to put that nice little black line. And I'm going to add the word total in here. Now, this is not super advanced stuff, but look, now we have this nice little expense report and I know what I spent and I can go ahead and change these categories if I want. Now let's see if I can do a quick drop down. Let's see if it'll actually find these for me. So if I go to insert, remember, drop down, look at that. So it found all of them for me without me having to type in each one. So all I need to do now is just change the color and that'll give us a really nice looking expense report. So that's some Excel basics for you. Hopefully this was helpful if you've never used Google Sheets or Excel before. Thanks for watching.